Speed teams are a core part of Summoners War's DNA. Today, we're going to talk about 7 levels of speed teams across 11 years of Summoners War. Starting us off, it's the Triple Tark team for DB10. The idea of using 3 dogs in a dungeon has been around for a while. In fact, this one dates all the way back to circa May of 2016. Simple in concept, it uses a Verd, a Galleon, and 3 Tarks. If you were to just take out the Galleon, this would look eerily similar to folks who are familiar with another team that we're going to talk about later on in the video. And this team was all possible thanks to Tark's third skill, Group Hunt, which brought multiple allies with him to attack. You run Galleon for defense break and benefit from the attack bar gain of Verd. We're jumping from DB10 to R5 with the Katarina R5 speed team. Get some homies together with a bunch of Katarinas, the Wind Valkyries, and you can just light the boss up. That intro is admittedly a bit of an oversimplification. It gets a little bit more complicated when it gets down to brass tacks and it's time to speed tune, especially considering that this team was out there in the world before solo R5 was even a thing. So if you were to do this, you really needed some guildies or friends to help you out. And that requires an admirable level of communication. Jumping ahead, but staying in R5, after the introduction of the Lightning Emperors, Baelger, the Fire one, started taking Katarina's place as the ideal damage-dealing unit for teams in R5. The BJ R5 comp was born. Baelger was the B, but the J is Jansen, the Dark Viking, who also, fun fact, has the longest skill cooldown on his skill 3 in the game. At least before skill ups, but you know, what fun would it be after skill ups, right? So in its earlier days, the BJR5 comp, similar to its predecessor, also required you to queue up with multiple friends. But once solo R5 came around, it still persisted because you could use the BJR5 comp as one of your teams and then supplement it with 2 others that are more akin to a starter team or a tankier setup. This one has really stood the test of time. Jumping ahead to September of 2020 with the Trickaroo comp. This was originally discovered by folks from the Japanese community in Summoners War, but it was quickly picked up by everyone worldwide, and it soon became the benchmark for both speed and efficiency. This team could do it all. Dragons, TOA, and a few other things. It was a phenomenon, and it became so fun to try to get that first clear with your Trickaroo team. Hitting those rune requirements proved to be pretty difficult for people, and it also birthed a lot of creativity where people would try to remove Verd and see what would still work. Given its strong history in the game, this might just be the king of all efficient teams in Summoners War, though it wouldn't be forever. But before we get there, let's talk about another speed team that came out in the same year. In December of 2020, the Dot team absolutely popped off. This featured a second Awakened Sath, 2 Melias, and a 2-way Tatu. It had super low rune requirements and an extremely high success rate. The Dot team was predominantly used in Giants, though it also breached into other places within Kairos. The Dot team and the Trickaroo comp were both contributing factors to why in Abyss dungeons you can't dot the bosses, nor can you bring duplicate monsters. But those restrictions really showed that the effect these teams had on the game. Jumping ahead a couple years, we have the Triple Crow team. This team was admittedly a little lesser known because it was one of the last ones thought of before the Abyss dungeons got added to the game in 2023. Although this Triple Dog team featured a Lauren and a Lucian, and I think you can get the idea. Lots of team-ups, lots of big damage, featuring defense break and brand. And that brings us to the present, where now we have the Teshar speed team for Giants, and we have the Kyle speed team for everywhere else. At the time of recording, these 2 speed teams are the reigning champions of efficiency in Summoners. So, we have a situation. I recorded this video probably 2 to 3 months ago, and in between then and now, a brand new speed team has popped up, and it's taken the internet by storm. Featuring the Fire Centaur Knight Agrius. You rune him up, high crit damage, super fast, and he just does everything for you. Plus, it's survived a balance patch. That's a win. All right, I just wanted to tell you about that. Enjoy the rest of the video. But are you using these teams? If not, you should check out the videos that we have on the channel. And while you're at it, what was your favorite era of speed team in Summoners War? Let me know in a comment.